Hello everyone, this is Ian, bringing you my Week 1 CUBA match, versus Brettibus. Um, might, um, if you haven't watched my draft analysis video, I don't blame you. But, yeah, so, we're gonna go right into the match versus Brettibus. I don't know if he has a channel link or anything, but yeah, if you just want to see a draft league battle, then here is one. So we have his team is the one up top, and my team is the one right below it, the one with the annoying blue spot on it. Can I get rid of that? There we go. All right. So our week 1 match is versus Brettibus and the. I honestly don't remember what his team name is. I'm sorry, Brett. I'll uh, I'll figure it out in I'll figure it out when I post the video, because it'll be like versus whatever his team name is. I apologize for not knowing it, but we're gonna get right into the game, which I'm just gonna go ahead, and this is a post com, so yeah, maybe for the next weeks I'm gonna do like live comms and stuff. But I know personally I like to calc a lot, and that may not be entertaining to watch, so I'll think on it. So this is basically team breakdown plus team builder plus the battle. So first we're gonna look at the matchup, which is above. I am the group of mons above, below, and he is the group of mons above. His team consisting of Darkrai, Megalopunny, Thundurus Incarnate, Suicune, Klefki, Alolan Ninetales, Necrozma, Mandibuzz, Zygarde 10%, Chandelure, and Piloswine. Remember when I said in the draft analysis that teams are going to end up being super broken? He has wall breakers galore, and then Suicune, Necrozma, and Mandibuzz as an unholy trinity of holy, how do I beat this? Eventually, it just gets to a point where fatness is just that. It's fatness. But, looking at his team versus my team, the team below, Megalopunny, it's faster than everything on my team except Selgor. And it just 2-hit KOs, 2 Okos, everything on my team. Every single Pokemon. Whoops. Sorry about that. I just lose a Pokemon every single time that thing comes in. It's incredibly hard to switch into with my team. A big thing I didn't look into with the draft is that I have no normal resists, and Megalopunny's dual stats of normal and fighting will hit everything on my team for basically a 2-hit KO every single time it comes in. So that's a really bad problem. Darkrai can be a threat. Thundurus can be a threat. Suicune, it can also end up being a threat. Klefki can be annoying. Necrozma can be annoying. Basically, everything on his team can end up being annoying. Out of the Mons I was expecting him to bring, because obviously I played the match, I was expecting him to bring, basically the first 4 Pokemon for sure. Darkrai, I think it outspeeds everything except Selgor as well, just because of the speed gap that does exist in my team. I was expecting to bring Thundurus, because it was one of the only things I could swap into Tornadus. I was expecting him to bring Suicune, just because that's a great check to Infernape, Azumarill. It eats hits from Zoroark, it eats hits from Kyurem. It can potentially stall out Snorlax. It can potentially take hits from Metagross if it's not carrying Thunder Punch. And even then, it only takes like 35%. Like, bulky waters are one of the few things that can actually take hits from Mega Metagross. Klefki can be an annoying spiker. I wasn't entirely sure if he was going to bring it because I had a Nidoqueen that blocked its dual status. Alola Ninetales can be annoying to set up screens, but realistically I'm not expecting it. Because I have Infernape. I have Snorlax that can set up all over it. I have Mega Metagross that realistically every time Alola Ninetales comes in, I can just get in Mega Metagross and start clicking buttons. Necrozma can be an issue. I'm expecting him to bring it because it's one of the only things that like, it checks most of my physical threats, like Infernape. It can take 2 hits from Mega Metagross. Mandibuzz, I can see it coming because it does relatively the same if it's physically defensive, and I can see him wanting to bring a backup check. Zygarde I can see because it outspeeds Mega Metagross and hits it for super effective damage. I can potentially see a Scarf Chandelure, but Snorlax checks that. And I wasn't quite too sure about Billswine because I have a couple things that can take advantage of it. Anyway, with that, we'll get to the team that I did end up bringing. Let's hop on over to Showdown and have my tab load real quick. See, if I had good editing software, this is where I would make a cut. Be like, all right, guys, look at the team we have right here, right now. But no. So, first member of the team I do have is Choice Scarfed Ash, the Infernape. Ultimately, no, that's not what I want. Ultimately, I think Infernape is a really good revenge killer for this team. The first 3 mons are basically big win conditions, in my opinion. Well, Metagross isn't really a win condition. In fact, Metagross is weirdly one of the least needed members on this team. It's weirdly enough, I know it's gonna sound weird, it's pretty much my only switch into Mega Lopunny. Because realistically, versus my team, I have 2 resists to high jump kick, I have 1 resist to return. If he was to click one stab over the other, I would expect return to be clicked, and this thing can eat up returns, especially with my 200 HP investment. I set myself to be able to outspeed a max speed Suicune, I guess despite the fact that Infernape's first, I'm talking about Mega Metagross, so that I can Toxic it. It is the end, because I had something that can switch in Suicune later, I wasn't too worried about being able to hit it, so I just put the 4th move as Stealth Rocks, because I did want Rocks up on the team to at least try to get offensive pressure, but I don't think Rocks were too necessary this matchup if he didn't bring Mandibuzz. So they were mostly for Mandibuzz to be able to put it in range of our 3rd member, but yeah. So that's why Metagross is there. So what was our first member, which I'm getting into second, is Adamant Choice Scarfed Infernape. I set it to outspeed a max speed Chandelure. Because of the speed tiers, I'm not outspeeding Scarf Psydog, I'm not outspeeding Scarf Thundurus, I'm not outspeeding Scarf Darkrai, I'm not outspeeding like Scarf Alolan Ninetales, so I don't even try. I just want to outspeed Scarf Chandelure, and it still outspeeds everything on his team that's not Choice Scarfed. So, realistically, I didn't need the added speed just with the way the speed tier settled, and this allows Infernape to hit even harder. It is a revenge killer for Mega Lopunny to ensure that it doesn't just outspeed and just tick off my members one by one. It is a check to Darkrai with Stone Edge, either after switching in on rocks or getting a little bit of chip damage. It is in range of Stone Edge or Flare Blitz. Flare Blitz is mostly there just to ensure an OHKO on Alola Ninetales. Stone Edge is there to hit not just Thundurus for, I think, an assured KO after rocks despite HP investment, but it also hits Chandelure because I don't really have anything else to hit it. and I wanted to ensure that I could hit it just in case he did decide to bring it. Okay, so I made a whoopsie. On a Azumarill, I ran 248 HP when I didn't have to. Oh, with a citrus berry, and my citrus berry would not pop. Because I have I think, even HP number, actually. No, it's an odd HP number, just to ensure that, like, because I'm used to running those, just because, Stealth Rock switch-ins and everything. You usually want to run odd HP numbers in draft. So, I didn't really think about it, because I've never used a Belly Drum Pokemon before. Like, this is the first time I've ever brought Belly Drum to a matchup, and I didn't really think about it. It's something I need to learn from to make sure next time I bring it, I'm running even HP numbers. But this is basically what I feel like I need to win the game with. I feel like he overpowers me with offense, but that offense is incredibly frail. So if I get rid of Thundurus, potentially Klefki, get chip damage on potentially a defensive Necrozma, and get chip damage on a potentially defensive Mandibuzz, Azumarill can win. I decided to run max HP to be able to get a Belly Drum off potentially on Lopunny, potentially on Zygarde, potentially on even Darkrai. I can eat hits from certain Pokemon, and I didn't feel like I needed to run the speed for anything because most of his team outspeeds Azumarill if he outspeeds Azumarill, even if I did decide to run Jolly. So I decided to run the added bulk and put 8 into 8 into speed in case he decided to bring Piloswine, and Play Rough is stronger than Aqua Jet, so Play Rough would knock him out. And since I didn't need a last move, I decided to run Protect, since the only thing that he could really do to stop Azumarill in the late game is spam Fake Out with Mega Lopunny, switch out. Like, if he has enough sacks, he can potentially stop it that way, but Protect just stops him. Like, every time Lopunny comes in the first turn, I click Protect, and then I Aqua Jet. If he has sub Mega Lopunny for some reason, then he got me good, but that's why Protect's there. Next three members are a bit of a defensive backbone. We have Specially Defensive Serena. This is a check to non-Sludge Wave Thundurus. A check to non-Sludge Wave Thundurus. A check to Suicune in that it is able to break its sub and isn't like 2 KO'd by +1 Ice Beam. If he decides to bring it, it is a check to non-Poisonium Z Darkrai. It is a check to Zygarde. In fact, that's mainly why I brought it. It's one of my only checks to Zygarde. Even with just max HP, especially with Trop Kick. I know it gets power up now, but with Trop Kick, I can lower attack and constantly make this thing a Zygarde check, so that's why Serena's here. Next we have Tornadus, Hurricane, Defog, Heat Wave, and Taunt. Taunt is there to stop Mandibuzz from recovering on me, stop Necrozma from recovering on me, basically to stop recovery. Defog is there in case he decides to bring Aurora Veil, Alola Ninetales. I'm not entirely sure. I'm expecting him to not bring certain Pokemon just because I have a Snorlax. And, like, if I bring, like, Choppleberry Snorlax, that could be an issue for him. But I decided not to bring Snorlax just because I already have a bad enough matchup versus Mega Lopunny, and I didn't want to make it worse. Max HP to ensure that I live a hit from... I live a Blizzard from Scarfalola Ninetales. I live a return from Mega Lopunny. I basically am assured to live one hit. Anything that Hurricane doesn't hit, Fire MZ will with 52 special attack after a little bit of chip damage, like potentially a Volt Switch from our final member. Like just a couple U-turns. I can just click Heat Wave, Blowback Klefki, and I need to get rid of Thundurus and Klefki because they are both Prankster Thunder Wavers, and I don't want in the late game they click Thunder Wave on Azumarill because they will outspeed it, and out prioritize its priority, and potentially I lose because I get paralyzed. So that is the game plan. If I find out he has Prankster T-Wave on either of them, I need to make sure that they go away. Then, like, I'm not entirely sure if he would carry Prankster T-Wave on Thundurus, but we would see. And then finally off, Max Spadef. Max HP, Max Spadef, Assault Vest, Eel. Backup check to all of his special threats. Like, it's a good natural check to Thundurus. It's a good check to Darkrai. It's a good check to my two specially defensive Pokemon in Serena and Electros are going to be so incredibly pressured this game that, like, I just need them to hold out long enough that I can chip his team down for Belly Drum Azu to win. So that's the game plan going into it. So yeah, that's the analysis. Now let's get to the actual battle and see what he decides to bring. Alright guys, so we get to the battle, and I'm gonna go ahead and switch sides here first. Okay, so we see from team preview he does bring the Zygarde 10, Darkrai, Necrozma, Megalopunny, Thundurus, and Klefki. Unfortunately, he does bring the Klefki, so that's another thing I need to get rid of before Azumarill can potentially sweep. Like, even with my odd HP number, realistically, it shouldn't be that big of an issue, because a lot of his team would just, like, realistically, anything that would KO me from, like, 75% would also, that wouldn't be able to KO me from 75%, wouldn't be able to KO me from 51% anyway, so it's really not that big of an issue. So, Zygarde could potentially be an issue if it's set up, or if it's a Choice Scarf, because that outbeats my Choice Scarf and Infernape. That's why I'm expecting he brought it, just to make sure that it checks Choice Scarf and Infernape, because bringing Choice Scarf and Infernape was pretty obvious, because I needed a Lopunny Revenge Killer. Darkrai can be scary, because I know he has to bring Sludge Bomb. If it's Nasty Plot, that can legitimately end me in the late game. I don't know what kind of set Necrozma is. I'm expecting it to be physically defensive to help deal with threats like Mega Metagross and Infernape. Mega Lopunny, it doesn't need to run anything special. Just High Jump Kick, Return, Fake Out. That's those shenanigans. Thundurus, another Nasty Plot threat. I'm not too worried about Thundurus, like, unless he's Sludge Wave, and because I have a Nidoqueen, I feel like he has to run Psychic. So, realistically, I think Thundurus isn't going to have enough move slots to deal with my entire team. So, I also do want to find out immediately what Z move, because Zygarde, Darkrai, and Thundurus, I don't know if I discussed this, but those are his 3 Z move users, and all 3 of them are there, so I need to find out which one, or burn the Z move, so that he can't use that to knock Azu out of Belly Drum range. So, let's start the battle. I'm going to lead with Infernape, I believe, as he leads with Thundurus. So I'm going to switch out immediately to Eel. I'm not even going to go for the U-turn. Not going to go for Flare Blitz. Not going to go for Stone Edge. I'm scouting for Prankster T-Wave right away, and sure enough, he goes for Prankster T-Wave. He knows that if he gets rid of Infernape right then and there, I really have nothing to deal with Mega Lopunny. It outspeeds everything, and it gets huge damage off every time it comes in. So, I'm going to get into Electros, and I'm going to click Knockoff to see if this is a Z user. Realistically, even if he is, he doesn't do much to me, and I knock off whatever comes in, as in comes the Necrozma. It is leftovers, expected. I go into Torn, and he goes for Calm Mind. That's scary. He's more bulky setup. I was able to determine that he was max health, max defense. Getting rid of leftovers does help me chip it down later, but so I'm just going to go ahead and click Taunt right here, stop him from getting even bulkier. And now I just want to see how well Torn deals with this thing, and I found out his Calm Mind stored power. So I'm going to be able to, I'm going to switch out into Electros. He's going to go for Toxic. That's fine. Like I said, Electros isn't going to be picking up any KOs, it's just supposed to be a pivot. So I'm gonna make a weird play. I'm gonna go into Metagross because realistically, Metagross really doesn't do much this game because, or at least my set doesn't. Um, it is, like I said, my only switch into Megalopunny, but just with the way that his team is focused, I was willing to sacrifice a little bit of damage off on Metagross. Plus, if he has Prankster T-Wave, he's gonna go for Prankster T-Wave right now. Realistically, I could have went back into Eel just to scout for it, but I didn't want to play mind games with Eel because I didn't have anything to really hit Zygarde for that hard. Like, I don't think Superpower 2 it KO'd, and I didn't want to play the switching games because I didn't know if he was set up Z-move yet, and if I lost Serena, then I could just get rolled over by special attackers. So, realistically, I'm just going to go into Metagross, and I'm going to get up rocks. This might have been a poor play, but I do find out he's double status T-Wave, so I do need to get rid of this thing. So he's going to click Foul Play, which does a shit ton to me, and I get paralyzed as I clicked Meteor Mash. Granted, I would have needed to hit, but that sucks. If I could have gotten rid of Klefki right there, like, if I would have gotten rid of Klefki right there, that would have been so good. I could have kept around my Mega Metagross for a little while longer. I mean, I'm still going to keep it, but I could have, it just would have made things a little bit easier. I'm not sure how much it mattered, but it does make me go into something that doesn't immediately get T-waved afterwards. I go into Electros so that I can click Volt Switch afterwards and get a little bit of chip off on this thing. So I Volt Switch out, and I go into my Tornadus. I'm going to let him paralyze this. I know this is weird because it outspeeds everything on his team outside of Dark. It outspeeds 4 of his team members, but since I actually found out that it's Calm Mind Stored Power, I'm not that scared of Necrozma because Serena can Toxic it. Serena can relatively wear it down. I have enough sacks. I'm not that scared of Necrozma that I don't need my Taunter. And if it's Z-move, it's Z-move. Like I said, I'm expecting Dog to be Scarfed. And I just need this thing gone if I want a Zoomerl to win in the late game. So, and of course, you could always miss. So I'm willing to do this just so I can Fire EMZ and take this thing out. And it was going to nuke anything that came in, so I was okay with making that trade. I was going to make a good play. I'm going to go into my Eel as he's going to go into Zygarde. I'm going to scout now because I don't think he would Devastating Drake immediately. I mean, he could have, but I wasn't expecting it. So I'm going to go into my Serena and check, and that's actually Scarf damage. I mean, it didn't confirm he was Toy Scarf, just confirmed he was non-boosting item Zygarde. So realistically, it could be Z-move. But at this point, I'm more leaning towards Thundurus or Darkrai being Z-move. So, yeah, so I'm going to click U-turn here as he goes into Thundurus. Even if he, clicked another move, that was still my best play to click that. So I'm going to click Superpower, just in case he does want to go into his dog. So, that's good. I can now click Volt Switch the following turn. Just to get more damage off on the Thundurus. Slowly you see the door getting open for a Zoomerl. I actually did the calcs, and based on his, I did the calcs based on the damage he's doing to the Electros. He's not max special attack. I can actually live a move with my Thundurus, bulky spread, but as you'll see, he goes for the Z move, which is, I breathed such a sigh of relief when he burned this to make sure that I die. Because I was so happy, because that means Zygarde wasn't Z, that means he can't use a Z later, that means Darkrai isn't Z, and 2 Trop Kicks will take this out. So, and I now know that he's Focus Blast and Psychic, and I'm pretty sure he has to be running Electric Stab and Thunder Wave, so he can't touch Serena because of Queenly Majesty. He can't paralyze me. He's going to go into Necrozma, and now I reveal Toxic. He's going to outspeed me. I can click Toxic here. And here's where he reveals. Here's where he makes a grave mistake. He reveals he can't touch me. He reveals Dark Pulse. And that screams to me, I click Belly Drum on this after Thunderous is gone. I win. If I do that, I win. So I'm just gonna do a bit of U-turning around here. It's not gonna get too much accomplished, but it's just gonna let me constantly hit this thing until it dies. Here I'm gonna go for Trop Kick, because realistically, there's no reason for me to switch out my Serena. Trop Kick hits everything. It will 2-KO Thunderous upon switch in. It will deal decent damage to Darkrai. It will deal good damage to Zygarde. And I get rid of Thunderous. So now, as you can see, Azumarill, the doorway is opened. If I get the Belly Drum off, Aqua Jet will tear through his team. Necrozma can eat hits, but it won't be able to do anything back to me. So, he's going to go Darkrai. I'm going to click U-turn. He reveals Sludge Bomb. I'm max Spadef, so I know that's not going to kill me, even if he did have Sludge Bomb. So I can just click double U-turn. I'm going to go back into my Serena just to get a bit of leftovers recovery. He's going to go into a Mega Lopunny. I'm going to sack off my Electros because at this point it's at 14%. It's poisoned. It's slower than everything else. It's useless. So I'm going to go into Infernape. Realistically, I should have just clicked Close Combat here. But, because if he was going to go into Necrozma, he was going to be clicking Moonlight, and I could have just went hard Azumarill on Necrozma, honestly, and just won the game right there, but I went for Flare Blitz, and realistically, I fucked up. I didn't really think of it. I was like, I need to hit Necrozma for a 2-KO if it comes in. Like, in the moment, my brain was like, make the prediction, even though the prediction would have legitimately lost me the game, so I need to slow my roll and think about the move before clicking it, but thankfully he stays in, so I don't actually KO him. And he knocks me out. Realistically, this doesn't matter too much. It's just a bit of differential. Because I can go into Azumarill now and just proceed to clean up. I click Aqua Jet. If he goes into Zygarde, I know it's not Z-move. I know it's not banded. He's not going to be able to really do anything for me. I click Play Rough. And if he goes in, and when he goes into Necrozma afterwards, I would just click Belly Drum. Because he can't touch me. So, but he goes into Necrozma first. And I'm going to reveal the Belly Drum now, reveal my bad HP stats, but he's going to put me under with the next attack anyway. Like, it doesn't matter what he does at this point. I'm going to be doing way too much damage to him. He clicks Dark Pulse. And the reason why I was scared of Necrozma is because Photon Geyser was close to a 2-KO. It would have been a 2-KO after Belly Drum if he was just like a slightly offensive Photon Geyser set. With max HP, he would have been able to live Aqua Jet and Photon Geyser twice to knock me out. That's what I was worried about in prep, but, you know, once the game came around, I wasn't nearly as worried about this Necrozma. I just click Aqua Jet twice. I click Aqua Jet 3 times, actually. 2-KO Necrozma. He goes into Zygarde. Even if he does somehow magically become banded, Extreme Speed doesn't knock me out. I would block it with Serena. He can't beat Serena. And Torn with the... He can't beat Serena with Zydog. And that's game. So, yeah. GG to Brett. We're going to win week 1. A pretty decent 3-0. Perhaps the differential could have been higher. I was worried in the beginning, though, because I let 2 of my stronger offensive threats get paralyzed, but I was pretty confident that Azumarill, once I saw the matchup, could win in the late game as long as I got rid of his Prankstermons, and it did. So, again, GG Brett. Next week we play chess, and I will find out his team name before the video goes up. And we'll see you next time. That was a really fun game, and it's fun to use these broken mons. Azumarill comes through. Let's see if it comes through next time. Bye-bye.